is having a very hard time keeping up with any of his picks. The Ivern was able to keep up because it was more supportive in nature and was able to effectively, when those ganks occurred, come back and retaliate with the counter gank.
Yeah, looking at the first game for Custom Elite, there Zach rocked it, going 4-0 and 14 actually, using those teleports quite to the advantage.
Yeah, that was an absolutely phenomenal game on his part. Cassiopeia is starting to run a little low on mana as she has tried to get a little aggro onto that Orianna.
Zach, again, back for another gank. Shen landing the taunt, going very low, but it does not look like they're going to be able to get Vlad. He is applying so much pressure right now, but he is doing it at the loss of CS.
That is true. Zach is behind a little in CS. However, it is helpful to notice that this is still the early game, and Rengar is not that far ahead in CS. I would honestly say the impact that Zach's ganks have are far more important and long-reaching than the so far 4 CS that Rengar has picked up along the way.
And also, we are past that 5-minute mark, so the first blood gold is heightened.
With this just immense, gold boost that whoever ends up getting the final, or whoever ends up getting that first blood and first kill of the game, that will be such a huge impact as far as their laning or their jungling goes. Because when you have, for example, if it goes to bot lane or mid, that would set Final Silencer's play so far ahead when in lane matchups that they already have an advantage in just due to the champion choices.
And looking at the CS of the junglers, actually, we see Zach being at the same amount, actually, as the Rengar, which is surprising with how much he has been going into lane and trying to get those early kills off.
That is true. Zach also does have ridiculous sustain and doesn't have to worry much about his health bar as these lanes go. Flash by Lucian to get out of the way of Thresh Hook. Exhaust onto Varus, and it seems that Zach is coming in. He lands big and hits the Thresh. Stun goes in, hits both of them. Neither of them end up falling. A flash from Thresh saves his life as Lucian has a lot of damage and lane pressure now. Some trades going on to Lucian with some autos hurting his health bar and making the trade slightly more even for Final Silencers.
We've been seeing that Thresh consistently holding that flay, expecting that Zach to be there so he can knock him out of the leap before he hits the ground and does any damage or knocks up anyone.
That is true. But he's caught out of position again without flash. Zach comes in, lands the first blood gold. That is going to be huge as he will distribute that pressure he gets from that gold bonus in multiple lanes.
Yeah, looking at this now, we're obviously going to see the Shen lane being pushed in by the Vladimir lane as he takes a more passive stance in this lane, just trying to keep the turret alive.
Overall, it will be interesting to see whether or not the Rengar is actually able to capitalize off of any of the other lanes, because so far all I've seen is he has ganked mid once or almost ganked mid once in an attempt to help the Orianna that essentially did absolutely nothing for his team. Right now, his purpose is to be able to have that assassination potential for the Lucian, but he hasn't ever built up any gold lead in any meaningful way to give him that.
Yeah, and he is also yet to hit 6 this game, which for Rengar is huge. Without 6, Rengar is not really something that is to worry about. But it looks like they're actually going to be going for Dragon here.
One of the interesting things is look how low Rengar is. They actually have to back out because with the threat of that Cassiopeia that was rapidly closing in, if she was able to land stuff, they wouldn't have an answer to her full health and mana pool.
Yeah, Shen definitely getting bullied very much so under turret, looking like he might have to back soon, which he does. Rengar finally hitting his 6th as well, which means we should be seeing some ganks come down as soon as he comes back from the spawn.
We also should note that both bot laners are not level 6 yet, but they are rapidly encroaching on that marker. And the jungle Zac is also not level 6 yet, and that team fight focused ult will be very crucial as the game continues to go.
Yeah, and I must say that Final Silencers definitely do not want that Infernal Drake to go to Custom Elite with that Elise, or that Cassiopeia and that Lucian being able to capitalize heavily from it.
Absolutely.
However, it looks like we have 4 members of Final Silencers rotating bot. They're pinging around Drag, but it looks like they might be going for bot lane, which is... Do they have War Presence?
Elite Instincts does seem to notice that they're there, and they seem to be trying to throw a little pressure at it is he, the enemy ADC. But with all of those members there, I don't think it would be wise to risk it, especially
does have
trying
culling,
to go
and
in
it
for
looks like he
Dragon.
might be trying to use it here.
Cassiopeia is here giving presence to them. Cassiopeia able to hit her ult, not able to steal the dragon, but it seems that Rengar is about to fall to Cassiopeia. A successful, very strong play by Cassiopeia, who is coming into the fight again. Lucian was taken down by the Varus, Orianna, and Thresh, though. They just made sure that he could not get the damage off in order to skirmish the fight.
Yeah, he was able to definitely tear down that Varus off the beginning, and having the Shen shield on him kept him really well protected and healthy. But as soon as the Orianna ult hit, no more.
Exactly. That Orianna ult is so potent as far as both its pick potential and how much damage it does. It is where the majority of her overall kit and utility as a champion is stacked. The rest of her kit is very useful to the team and does have some decent damage, but poor use of the ult, which we have seen in the past from Final Silencer's mid laner, has definitely cost them numerous fights. But as we just saw, a good use of it is able to easily secure the kill.
We're seeing here Cassiopeia with that blue buff being able to push in the lane as hard as she wants, able to get it underneath Orianna's turret, hopefully deny her some CS with the turret.
Lucian and Varus are dead even on CS. Meanwhile, Cassiopeia has continuously been building up that CS lead. She is now sitting at over 20 above Orianna, giving her the lane advantage, actually, despite how the matchup was originally in Orianna's favor. Gank from Zac, but Blood Pool burned by Vladimir. Rengar coming in, hits with the Bolo Strike, and he is fighting, hits the Q. Zac ults out so he can be safe. Massive healing from the Vladimir, and essentially nothing was gained by Custom Elite.
Yeah, seeing that Rengar has that red buff is a sign to get out, because Rengar will get on you and be stuck to you with that red buff.
Exactly. And this Rengar, now that he's finally making his show in lanes, he is definitely able to add a lot of pressure to the lanes as far as damage. In the team fights, we'll see whether he'll be able to pull off his role as assassin correctly, but so far, we have yet to see any massive team play that this Rengar has provided in anything other than counter ganks.
He is moving around in the topside river towards Cassiopeia, who is sitting fairly far back for the lane. Oh, Varus forced a flash right there. Culling going to come out.
Mistook by Thresh. Thresh ult down. It looks like he's trying to use it to slow down the enemies, but with so much health remaining, they are able to get a double stun. Teleport coming in from the Vladimir. This means bot lane is backing off. Vladimir comes in, slows them both. Looks like Rengar is coming in as well. It looks like Taric is in the middle of them trying to get that Thresh, not able to. The Varus ends up finishing him off, and Lucian escapes with his life. But that means that the red side, with Final Silencers, does gain a little bit of an advantage and starts to close that gold gap that Custom Elite had been forging for themselves.
4 members of Final Silencers down in the bot lane is something that almost resulted in a double kill, but Lucian was able to get out of there and keep living. However, they are likely to get this turret here because Lucian will not be back in lane.
Exactly.
Unless Zac has something to say about it.
This is an interesting play, actually, because personally, I would have recommended both the Thresh and the Rengar backing off that turret. Because this is first turret, the local gold is boosted by a very large quantity. And if Varus was the only one in that vicinity, he would have gotten the entire monetization of that first turret gold, skyrocketing his lead in lane ahead even further.
However, as I've seen in games past, especially from the fall tournament, there were oftentimes a member of the team that had the entirety of gold lead basically of that team, and that caused that team to lose because the uneven spreading of gold.
Yes, that is definitely a concern. I just felt that due to the immense presence that this Lucian had, that making sure your ADC, who is currently laning against him and will generally be the answer to his overall DPS threat, is going to be someone who it is crucial to stack that gold lead onto. Especially with so many tanks on the enemy team, making sure that your Varus gets ahead and is able to consistently output that damage seems to be something that Final Silencers really need to end up getting under their belt and focusing on in order to take the advantage of this matchup in more ways than just 0.2k goal.
Definitely still a very even game here.
An ult, or a jump by the Zac, an ult coming in from the Taric onto Zac and himself. Invulnerability, we have a 4-man dive under tower. Zac is taking damage, and he does fall, but he splits into his cell form. Rengar is under tower. Ult by Orianna, able to do so much damage. Shen is taking a lot, and it seems that, yes, Orianna able to take that out, looking to grab that Lucian, does not quite have the damage to hit him yet, but this fight is not yet over, and it seems Lucian takes a little extra damage running away. With his low mana, he's not able to trade effectively against this Orianna, whose defensive abilities and flexible nature due to that ball of hers gives her immense pressure.
But triple kill Shen, which honestly might not be the most optimal thing, but I believe all members of Custom Elite did benefit from assists on that dive.
Absolutely. The only member that wasn't there was Logash, who has been pushing mid this entire time. The tower top does fall, giving 2 turret advantage and a dragon advantage to Final Silencers. But overall, the gold deficit is still very close to even. Less than 1k, in fact, due to the excellent CSing on behalf of the Cassiopeia and the small advantage that the Lucian has in CS.
Looks like Custom Elite's looking to get in here. They're going to get hooked there, though, and their attempt will be stopped early before they even get to the wall of the pit. Threshold going to narrowly miss right there. Yeah, Final Silencers definitely wants to push this small advantage while they have it and make it into a massive one.
Absolutely. It seems that Zac used his dive to reposition himself, which is no big deal, as there is definitely some breathing room for Custom Elite to, hold this mid lane that Varus is going to be looking to push, especially with the massive wave clear he has on his Q. We see that Varus is actually looking like he's planning on grabbing a Quicksilver Sash this game based off the Null Magic Mantle he has in his inventory. It is a little hard to tell, as it is possible that might actually be building into Merc Treads to reduce the amount or the duration when CC is landed.
I'd say typically if you're going a non-mobile character such as Varus, Quicksilver Sash is not going to benefit you for the most part because you have no dash or flash abilities to get you out of there beyond that.
That's absolutely true, but at the same time it can also provide that little crucial bit of time in order to dodge the next one, even if you don't have that. But whether or not he's going that or the Merc Treads, we have yet to see, and overall it seems that this game is so far still less than 1k difference. We see Thresh just forcing that Shen into not being able to fight. He narrowly misses the hook, meaning that the Shen does walk clear. An ult by the Orianna saves her life and ends up with a massive... Taric gets a massive 4-man ult off, securing so much survivability for his team as it does this very deep tower dive. Lucian still alive and healing up as outer tower in mid falls to Custom Elite.
Yeah, Rengar getting shut down right away right there. Oh, Zac getting in with the lucky leap right there. No vision whatsoever, but Varus going to be able to lantern out of there.
Very well played by that team. And it seems that they are going to be able to take that little bit of pressure they got from that advantage team fight where they forced the Vars and Thresh back to get yet another turret, evening out the amount of turrets and making them have a 2k gold lead.
This is where the team chooses whether they're going to win or not. We're going to have to see if Final Silence